So, welcome everyone. This is day three of our demo series on Business Analyst training program. So, what we will be doing today is we will be trying to find out some of the differences between commonly asked questions. Okay. So, students often have doubt like, is business analyst and data analyst the same thing? Is a business analyst better than a scrum master or a scrum master better than BA, considering both are non-coding roles? Then we have one topic from our side, that is, since the world of artificial intelligence is growing, so how is this artificial intelligence going to impact the job that we do as a business analyst? Okay. Particularly, people are more concerned nowadays about job security rather than how AI is going to advent in the upcoming days. Okay. So we will be uncovering answers to all these three questions. Okay. Plus, like I said, if you have any questions, we can go through that as well. Now, before we get into difference between business analyst versus data analyst, I will just give you guys a quick overview between what type of work is typically being done in the IT industry. It will help us understand the difference between a business analyst and data analyst in a more effective manner. Now, generally in IT industry, the more focus is on doing two things. Okay. Number one is building a product, okay, or software. This is typically done by using any of the appropriate software development life cycle. Now, building a product or a software is primarily for solving a problem. Suppose I want to book train tickets online. I don't want to go to the nearest railway station, fill up some form, wait in queue, and then wait for my turn to come up. Suppose by the time my turn comes up, all the seats are already filled. So it feels like a waste of effort. Okay, I woke up early, or maybe the nearest railway station is not so near. I had to travel a lot. Now, how about if I can get a software that can show me the availability based on the date that I select? Okay. So if I like a particular train timings and everything, it matches my schedule, I can definitely go ahead and book tickets in it. Okay. I can do it at the comfort of my home. I don't have to travel anywhere. I can save up my time. The same thing applies with the online shopping or online food delivery or online grocery delivery, whatever you can account for. Okay. They are helping you save certain time. Okay. But in order to do all these or solve all these problems, you need a product or a software at the heart. Okay. That product can be used by the customers like you and me to achieve the objective. Okay. So that's the first area of focus in the IT industry. That how do we build a product? Okay, a product that can be used by the customers efficiently. Okay. Now, while you are building a product, while you ask a customer to use a product to solve their objective, what has always been happening is the industry was collecting data. Okay. For example, if you want to shop online, I will just not let you shop online as is. Okay. I'll ask you to create an account using your mobile number, using your email ID, okay, so that I can gather data or collect data. Okay. Now, once I have that unique ID of yours, the email ID or mobile number, and then I have a name to that account, then I can start mapping the order history to that account. Then I can slowly start, doing more sophisticated job as I have this data. Okay. So this collection of data, sorry. This collection of data takes place through your regular software. As soon as I place an order on online shopping, what will happen is the software will store my data into some tables. Okay, it could be Oracle tables, it could be DB2 tables, it could be anything. Okay, they'll store my data into some tables that so and so mobile number with so and so name has placed an order on so and so date with the amount of value of the order. Now, what was happening is earlier the organizations were not heavily relying on the data that they already had access to. Okay. Very few organizations were actually doing some analysis on top of this data. Okay. Most of the organization was actually focusing upon building a product or a software and then do the marketing or advertisement to attract new customers. Now, what the shift has happened is that the organizations, through their product, they have already collected lot of data. They have access to lot of customer data. So why don't we, whenever we launch a new product, suppose I am a health insurance company, I have sold health insurance to, let's say, 100,000 customers. Now I have access to email IDs, phone number of these 100,000 customers. Now, whenever I launch a new product, okay, I can reach out to these 100,000 first because they have bought an insurance product from me earlier to see if they are willing to buy one more from my company. Okay, so that way I don't have to make unnecessary spendings on advertisement or marketing. Now, if I see that out of these 100,000, very few are showing interest or negligible people are showing interest, then probably I can go for an advertisement or marketing. But if I see a good amount of people are responding to my product, they are buying it. Okay, so I don't have to spend money on again further advertisement or spending. I can rely on my existing customer base to keep advertising for my product. They will buy something, they'll go out to their friends and family, and they'll praise about the product. Okay. So what organizations are now doing is we already have a product or a software that is collecting the data for us. So why don't we harness the power of data? Okay, why don't we start making meaningful conclusions using the data that we already have? And that's where you will see a growing demand in the field of data analytics, where you read through the existing data and try to make conclusion out of it. For example, you read through the sales data in a country to see which state has lower sales. Okay, so that the leadership can focus more on that state. Suppose in India, if I say, suppose out of the entire sales report, let's say Karnataka has lower sales. So now as a leadership person, suppose if I am the leader of the company, I can put more focus on Karnataka. That why are we doing better in other states but not in Karnataka? What's so unique about Karnataka? I can put my more focus there. Okay. Similarly, when you have people that are buying for certain days, not buying for certain days, you can again try to read a pattern. Okay. When are people more likely to buy something? What dates? What month of the year? Okay. During that particular month, I can include more staff in my company to handle the heavy traffic. Okay. But the time where we get less orders or negligible orders, at that point in time, I don't need that many staff. Okay. So I can accordingly scale up or scale down my staff by just reading through the data. Okay. So that's what happens in data analytics. You have an existing data and then you try to make meaningful conclusions out of it. The next one is data engineering field. Okay. This talks about setting up data. Okay. Now, many a times we get data into different formats. Okay. Sometimes we get data through our regular product or software, which we will take and put it into some tables. But sometimes we can get data into Excel sheet, into PDF document, into Word document, or in some other format files, CSV files, XML files, JSON files. So what data engineering field does is it tries to read through the various sources into different layout, different formats, and then try to put them together into a common format. Okay, that common format could be a table, like where our regular product is putting up the data. Okay. So all it does is read through the different sources, see if any cleansing is needed, if any reformatting is needed, and then put the data into the target tables. Okay. So that the target tables can be used by the data analytics team to draw out meaningful conclusions. Okay. And then we have the field of data science. Okay. So data analytics is using the existing data to put out meaningful conclusions. Okay. They are not doing any predictions. But data science, what they are trying to do is they are trying to read through the data to actually make future predictions, to actually generate new contents. Okay, so when we talk about AI, ML, they all fall into the data science category, where you are scanning through the lot of data collected as part of data engineering. Okay, and then you use that data to either make future predictions or you use that data to generate new content. Okay. Now these are particularly the two different categories of work you can say that happens within an IT industry. Okay. And the areas where a BA could be involved. Okay. Now when we talk about a BA who collects requirement, who talks to stakeholders, okay, who is driving the product creation, we are actually talking about BA over here. Okay. A data analyst works in this particular stream, okay, all data related projects. But certain organizations, instead of calling data analyst, they'll use the word business analyst only. Okay. So that is where I tell all the students to have a word of caution, even though someone may be using the term business analyst, but go through the job description once. Okay. If the job description is more focused about building a product, building a software by talking to stakeholders, creating user stories, requirement gathering, and those kind of things, they're actually talking about a business analyst in the traditional terms. Okay. If it is, if they have mentioned a business analyst who needs to do some kind of data reporting, talk to stakeholders, do the data reporting, prepare reports using Power BI and those kind of things, they're actually talking about data analysts. But nowadays organizations are interchangeably using the word BA and DA. So you just have to be a little careful with that with respect to the job description that is used. Okay? But it's not just the job description, there are certain different skill sets also needed. Okay? So for example, as a BA, you will be more focused on stakeholder management. Okay? Though both of them, a business analyst and a data analyst, could be an individual contributor role, but as a BA, you have a huge list of stakeholders to cater to. So, starting with your client, who is the primary stakeholder with whom you are getting all the requirements, then you move on to your teams. Okay, because whatever information you gathered from the primary stakeholder, you need to pass it on to your teams. So, your teams is another set of stakeholder. Then you have deployment group who is responsible for deploying whatever code changes have been made. So, you have to talk to them. You need to again talk back to your client to give a demo of the product. Okay. Whereas when it comes to data analyst, okay, you require more importantly data related skills like finding gaps or anomalies in the data. Okay, using the data to make sense out of it, interpreting the data. Okay. So those things are data related skills are more important for a data analyst, whereas as a business analyst, your primary focus will be on stakeholder management, not just the stakeholder management, but primary being stakeholder management. Okay. A business analyst require other skills as well that we will deep dive during the course. The second difference comes in terms of the work that you do. Okay. So here your end target is to create a requirement document. Here your end target is to create a report. Okay. So as a BA, because you will be particularly involved in the software development side, so in order to communicate information with the upstream or downstream system, downstream stakeholders, you need a requirement document. Okay. Without requirement document, just without requirement document, just sharing the information verbally doesn't work. Okay, verbally often information is lost. You see, if I tell you 10 points, but I don't make a note of those 10 points, what will happen is eventually you may remember only 8 points out of those 10. But if I have told you 10 points and you have made a note of those 10 points, then even if you forget, you can always refer to your notes and get on the same page. Okay. As a data analyst, your end goal is to create a report. So whatever data analysis you do, data cleansing that you do, or whatever activities you take care of, whatever technologies you use like SQL, Power BI, Python, at the end, you want to create a report that can be utilized by your stakeholders to make necessary strategic decisions. Then you have one more point on technologies used. Sorry. Now, as a BA, your go-to technology, like I said, is actually more of communication skills or stakeholder management. But in order to do your job efficiently, you need to have a good grasp on MS Office, Jira, and then a tool like Draw.io or Microsoft Visio. Whereas for a data analyst, the primary skills that you require are SQL, any data visualization tool like Power BI, Tableau. I'm just mentioning Power BI doesn't mean that you only require Power BI. Any data visualization skills will help. And then some type of programming knowledge as well. Okay. Now, along with it, you will still need things like Jira. I'll answer your question, Raghu. Okay, so, along with Jira as well. Okay. Now, there will be certain things common, that is demo of the work. Okay. So at the end, whatever requirements you write, you will you will create a software and give a working product demo to the stakeholder. Okay. Here also, whatever report you created, you will give the demo to the stakeholder. Okay. So there are certain overlaps as well. Now Raghu has a question. And that question, let me read it out. So, as a fresher, do you think we need to be skillful in SQL, Power BI, along with BA strategies so that we are versatile? Okay. So, you actually asked a question, Raghu, little advanced, but I'll answer to that. Okay. So nowadays we should be focusing on T-shaped skills. Okay. So what is T-shaped skills? Okay. So in T-shaped, if you see, T is made out of two lines. There is a horizontal line at the top, okay, and then there is a vertical line. Okay. So what it means is horizontal line indicates your knowledge about different streams or areas or technologies, whatever you can call them out. Okay. So, for example, though my primary work is as a product manager, but I still have I learned about Python, I learned about SQL. Okay, like I said, I started my journey as a developer. At that point in time, I was coding in COBOL, so I still remember few things out in COBOL, DB2 as well. Okay, so the horizontal line in T indicates the different areas, technologies, streams that you have knowledge about, that you have good functional knowledge about. Okay. The vertical line indicates depth of knowledge. Okay. So I can have knowledge about n number of streams, but out of those n number of streams, there should be at least one stream, area, or technology where I can be called as an expert. So though I told you that I have knowledge of SQL, Python, all those things, I'm not teaching you guys Python over here. I'm not teaching you guys Power BI or any of it over here. Okay. My expertise lies in the business analyst part. Okay. So, and then getting back to relating this T-shaped skill to Raghu's question. Okay, as a student or as an employee or worker, you should always target to have T-shaped skills for longevity of your career. Okay, suppose if there is any job cut or any kind of like interest switch that happens, if you know multiple technologies, multiple areas, you can switch to the other area as well. If you know SQL, if you know Power BI along with the BA knowledge, it will definitely be helpful for you. Why? Suppose if your organization doesn't require people with data skills, okay, they don't require people who has Power BI SQL knowledge, but because you know BA, you can easily switch to BA projects as well. Similarly, suppose if you are working as a BA, but you see lot of demand going up on the data side, so you can always request your organization to move you onto the data side as well. Okay, so it offers better job security, better exposure to different variety of work. Okay, but again, whether you want better exposure, better job security is all dependent on you. If you ask me, people should always aim for T-shaped skills, okay, so that it helps them with respect to any crisis time or even switch in their interest as well. Okay. If you know just one thing, it takes whole lot of energy to start fresh on something new or something different. Okay. Does that answer your question, Raghu? Now we will come on to the next uh, difference. Okay, that is an interesting one, business analyst versus Scrum Master, because normally people opt for business analyst because they consider it as a non-coding role. Okay, so the regular question that everyone has is a BA is a non-coding role, a Scrum Master is a non-coding role. So which one do you think is better for me? Now, to be honest, what is better for me may not be better for you. It slightly depends on your interest level as well. Okay. Now, I can give you certain points that you can particularly focus upon and then make up a decision for yourself. Now, a BA is a technical role. Okay. A Scrum Master is a non-technical role. Okay. Now, what do I mean by it? See, the people like BA, people like developers, people like data analysts, people like testers, all those, they are part of building a software. Okay, so when I go back to these notes, when I said we are trying to build a product, okay, who are the key people involved in building that product? Okay, so it starts with BA, then there will be a developer that will be required, and there will be some type of QA or tester who will be required. Okay. Along with that, there will be a deployment team or CI/CD team. Okay. So they are the key people who are actually involved on ground to build a software. Okay. So whoever is involved in building a software, I call them as technical people. Even when it comes to the data side, data analysts, data engineers, data scientists, they are all technical people. Okay. Again, they are trying to give you an outcome which can be utilized by your stakeholders. Okay. Now, when it comes to roles like Scrum Master, when it comes to roles like Project Manager, okay, they are more of enablers. Okay, they are more about managing the health of the project rather than executing the project all by themselves. Okay, so it doesn't require any technical skill set in software creation. So that's the first difference, that a BA being a technical role and a Scrum Master being a non-technical role. Okay. So being a technical role, you again focus on skills like stakeholder management. Okay. A Scrum Master particularly focuses on team management. Okay. How many of my team members are available today? What is the work that is assigned to my team? Okay. Is my team doing my job efficiently? Is someone lagging behind? Does that person lagging behind needs some kind of training? Okay. Who can give the training to the person? Do I need to hire a new person in my team? Okay. So you are particularly focusing about or enabling your team to do your job efficiently. You don't have to do the job all by yourself as a Scrum Master, but you are enabling your team to do their job efficiently. Okay, so your main skill set that is needed is team management. Okay, ensuring that your team is highly productive with respect to the work that is assigned to them. Here you are creating requirement document. Okay. As a Scrum Master, your main focus is on resolving conflicts. Okay. People are approaching you, people are coming to you and asking that I have so and so work tomorrow, so I'll not be able to come to office, or I am on unplanned leave. Okay, so how do you, ensure that the work still keeps moving forward? Yeah. Or maybe someone comes up with complaint about other teammates, or maybe someone comes up with their problems like I'm not able to move forward with the task, so what should I do? Okay. Now when it comes to job security, okay, I always feel that any kind of technical roles have better job security. If you are in a technical role, it always offers you a better job security as compared to a non-technical role. Yeah. So still remember the COVID times. So when I was working with Accenture, so when COVID started, okay, a lot of focus by different organizations was to lay off people. Okay, because everyone was anticipating that now that there are complete lockdowns or shutdowns, so all the businesses or the organizations, basically their clients, will not be able to do business. So what will happen is the clients will suffer losses. When clients suffer losses, they cut down on their IT spendings, that we don't need IT now. Okay. So that's what the general anticipation was in the IT companies. And then what happened? They started cutting down on people. Okay. So the first line of people who were cut down were actually these non-technical roles. Okay. So PMO roles, project management operation roles, HR roles, and then along with it, they also started cutting down on the project managers as well. Okay, who are basically the non-technical people over here. Okay. Later they realized that the organizations, rather than stopping the business completely, they were actually shifting to online businesses. Now they wanted to have uh, a proper online platform for them. Okay, different means to run their business online. In order to run business online, you need to have more staff in the IT company. Okay, so eventually they fired people, IT companies, a lot of people, and then started hiring more people, even asking their old project managers, technical managers to work as technical people, developer, BA, to get the job done. So I feel when it comes to job security as well, not just BA, you be in any technical role. Okay. Whether you work as data analyst, developer, BA, you be in any technical role, it offers you a better job security. Okay. Now, eventually, your interest could be that maybe I'll work as a BA product owner for 20 years, but after 20 years, I want to get into management role. I'm okay taking a risk, but now I want to get into management role. Okay, that's completely okay. But for someone who is starting their career or who is midway into their career, I think having a better job security doesn't harm. But again, like I said, it also depends on your interest level as well. If you are someone who is particularly inclined towards handling teams, managing teams, assigning them tasks, okay, talking to the leadership about how your team is performing, representing your team, getting involved into appraisal cycles, resolving conflicts, enabling your team to do their job efficiently, then Scrum Master is the job for you. But on the contrary, if you are more focused on building a software, building a product, solving problems, okay, then business analyst or the other technical domains are for you. Okay. Any question? Yeah, I'll take the silence as no questions. Then let's come over here to the impact of AI. Okay, now over the last few years, AI has advanced itself. Okay, in the earlier days of AI, okay, in the earlier part of AI was more about solving a specific problem. Okay, solving a specific problem like, let's say predicting weather. Okay. You read through the entire historical data and then build up a model that can try to predict weather patterns. Okay. Now we also have weather data for the future, but they're more of a prediction kind of things. Okay. So you use these models to do prediction. Now, when you have built a model for weather prediction, you can use it only for weather. Okay. So the earlier days, the focus was on building AI models, okay, that can solve a specific problem. And that specific problem was particularly around doing reading through the data to make future predictions. Okay. For example, if you are in stock market, so which stocks are likely to go up, and you do that prediction by reading or going through their historical data. Okay. So historical data could include like stock performance. Historical data could also include things like dates on which it is moving, how much it is moving. Okay. So you accumulate whole bunch of data to do those predictions. But in the last few years, particularly over the last 5 to 6 years, 6 years or more, okay, now what has happened is AI has got into the space of generative AI, or what we call as Gen AI. Okay. So what it means is, now with all the data that you have access to, you still go through that data, but you are able to generate contents. Okay. That content could be a text, a video, an image, okay, or it could even be answers to the questions as well. Yeah, so whatever it could be, it could even write code for you. It could even create documents for you. It could even build presentations for you. Okay. So basically, all the data that it has access to, it is using that data to generate new content. Okay. And that's why things look things look more serious this time, because this is something that people like you and I can use on a wide variety of basis. Okay. The earlier work that was being done on AI side, it was more specific. Yep. The earlier work that we were doing on the AI side was more specific. It didn't have any use case that would impact people like you and me, or I would say direct impact. But nowadays, with the advent of Gen AI, okay, we are almost talking about AI, and when we talk about AI, we are more of referring to Gen AI. Okay. So now we are more of referring to Gen AI because of ease of access, okay, because of a use case wherein we are involved as well. Okay. Now the question comes is, if Gen AI is capable of generating content, okay, and that content could be anything, okay, text, image, videos, okay, code, presentations, documents, okay. Should we be worried, okay, that soon AI will take over the job that we are doing? Okay? Now the answer to that question is actually not straightforward. Okay? It depends a lot on the training data that is available. Okay? Nowadays, the bigger concern with respect to AI is okay, is the response coming out of AI 100% reliable or not? Okay, that's the bigger question that we should be asking, because often we know that the world is heading towards an AI based approach or AI based solutions. But the more important question is the response given coming out of AI reliable or not? Okay. You would have heard a lot of news, or you would have read through multiple sources that the AI systems that are being built are more biased. Okay. So the one that uh, America is building is biased towards American data. The one that China is building is biased towards Chinese data. Okay, so whoever is building AI is actually introducing some kind of biasness into the systems. Okay. That biasness plus the amount of data that is used for training actually tells you whether to rely on the response or not. Okay. Now, in certain cases, you will get 100% correct response. In certain cases, you will not get a correct response. Okay. So, to me, the AI systems are still not fully developed to an extent where we can confidently work with them, like how confidently we work with our colleagues. Okay. If we have any doubts, questions, we confidently reach out to our colleagues and we trust their responses. Can we have the same level of trust on AI? At least not as of now. Okay. Now once their responses becomes 100% reliable in all situations, probably they can work as my colleague. Okay. But think from a general, when it comes to job security, think from another angle as well. Now, currently, what are you doing as a BA? Okay. You will set up meetings. Okay. You will talk to your stakeholders. Okay. During that meeting, you might take notes. Once you have taken notes, you might go through that notes, analyze those notes, get to come up with more questions maybe in the next meeting. Or if you are 100% okay, you try to convert your notes into requirement document. Use that requirement document to again review with your stakeholders. Once they are okay, then you pass on that requirement document to your team so that they can also jump start with their work. Okay. Now you are able to do all this because you have access to the client system. And why you have access to the client system? Because client thinks you will not steal their data. Now, when it comes to AI, in addition to reliability on the response, the another part that actually makes organizations apprehensive is data security. Now, there is an actual news that a person used AI to create some type of presentation on the idea he was getting. Okay, I don't remember the idea exactly, but he shared the idea with AI that this is the idea I have. I want to create a presentation because I want to file for patent. Okay. So help me create a presentation, a regular normal thing. Okay. Nothing fancy about it because we all are using AI to do some of our menial jobs, okay, like creating a presentation. It's boring. So why not use an AI to create a presentation for me? I will give the idea, I'll give the content, but the image, the format, and everything has to be taken care by the AI system. Now, what happened is this person also shared the idea, everything was done, but the person had a slight delay in filing for the patent. Okay. While there was a delay, Samsung was also using AI to uncover new ideas in that field. Okay. They did not have the idea, but they simply asked the AI system, can you suggest me certain ideas which are not yet patented in the field of ABCD? And the AI system give the idea of the earlier person that this is the idea you can try. Now immediately Samsung went for filing the affidavit, sorry, patent. And when this person went to file patent, his idea was rejected, saying that this idea was already submitted by Samsung and you are late. Now again, the lawsuit is going on, saying that the AI systems they're sharing data across multiple users. Okay? So whatever data you key in for a specific client can be used by the AI system for another user who is working for a different client. Okay. So data security is a bigger concern by the organizations, and that's why organizations they are not completely relying upon AI systems. They want to use AI system to an extent where they can restrict data access by the AI. Okay. So for example, you can write code, you can give data to have some type of presentation created, but again, what level of presentation is needed? You will mostly see a wrapper program before AI system. Like in our organization, we have a wrapper program that will take your data, will identify are you sharing any personal information, any confidential information. If yes, it won't even take your prompt to the AI system. It will stop you there. Okay. If it sees you have somewhat good data, it will take your prompt to the AI system and then give a response back from there. Mm. So organizations, people are worried about reliability of the response. Organizations are worried about the data security. Okay, so obviously, no one wants to give an AI system full access of their application that they, set up meetings, talk to stakeholders, okay, and all those kind of things. So that's where, as a BA, your job is more secured, okay? Because when it comes to stakeholder interactions, people are more comfortable in talking to a human being rather than a machine. Like I said, people are still not 100% reliable on the response that they are getting. So they prefer talking to a human being rather than a machine at this juncture. But will this remain like this forever? Okay. To be honest, I don't have an answer on that, or how long will it take? Will things transform in next 10 years, 5 years, or less than that? Nobody really has an answer other than adopting to AI. In 2019, when the buzzword was starting, even in our systems, we didn't have any AI at all. Now we have a very limited access to AI. That is, you can use AI to write down codes, you can use AI to reformat your documents, you can use AI to create presentations. Okay? So you can use AI to do some of the boring things or menial tasks, but that still required very basic level of skill set. Not repetitive tasks, but some jobs that required very basic level of skill set, like creating a presentation. Okay? So you spend more time collecting data, and then once you have the data ready, let AI create the presentation for you. Okay? So my only response will be, wherever you go, whichever company you work for, you need to learn to work with AI. Okay? Use AI to boost your productivity. Okay. For example, if your organization doesn't create a requirement document, or there is no template of requirement document, you can ask AI to create a requirement document template for you, so that you can use it, share it with your seniors, and then show them that why can't we use this template, or you work on top of that template, make necessary modifications that you think should be added or removed from the template. Okay, and then give it to your seniors that let's use this template to create requirement document on. Okay. So nowadays, what has happened is, earlier we would search things online to get some basic template out there, or to get a basic response on top of which we can build our solution. But what happened is, when you search through different search engines like Google, Yahoo, or Microsoft's Bing, they will redirect you to plenty of websites. And what you will have to do is, you will have to go through each and every website to see which one is more relevant to you. Now, AI, in AI, you do the same thing. Okay. In AI, you get the specific response to your search. Okay. Now, AI will not try to give you multiple websites, that these are the multiple websites, go through and find your answer. They will try to customize the answer for you and then give you references as well. So that now you have a direct starting point, rather than trying to figure out where should I start. So the gist is that because AI can give you a head start, AI can give you a template, AI can help you or assist you with multiple jobs that require very basic skill set, that doesn't require any specialized skill set. So why don't we learn to work with AI to boost our productivity, to do more things in the same amount of time? So that way you are always regarded as a better professional than your peer group. Okay. But don't worry, AI is not there to take your job completely by going out talking to stakeholders. Okay. A job of a BA is much more intense than what it looks on the paper. Okay. So you will have multiple rounds of conversations with your stakeholders. Okay? And not every conversation will go like, a straightforward direction. Sometimes there will be a lot of back and forth. Some days the stakeholder will be angry, and you will have to change your strategy on the fly. Like, okay, today is the stakeholder is angry, so let me not ask many questions, okay, because each question is triggering the stakeholder. So let me consume the data that the stakeholder is providing today. Let me ask one or two questions today. Maybe I know this stakeholder, he or she is usually not that angry. So maybe after 1 hour, 2 hour, or maybe tomorrow, I'll, go out with follow-up questions as well. Okay? Or maybe someone maybe you're working with a stakeholder who gets angry easily. Okay? So in such cases, I'll be better prepared before I appear for any of these meetings. Okay? And then how do we prepare ourselves? Okay? That we will see in the upcoming classes again. But your job as a BA is much more intense in terms of stakeholder management. An AI system doesn't have to do any stakeholder management. Their only criteria is you ask me question, I'll give you answer. Okay, whether you like my answer or not, whether you like my tone of the answer or not, okay, whether I'm able to understand your question or not, okay, that all I don't care. If you think I'm not able to answer your question correctly, change your question. Okay, so that is all that I wanted to cover. Any questions that you guys might have, uh, specific to your experience or specific to the topic that we have covered today? Yeah, I'll take the silence as no questions. Well, thank you everyone for your time. We'll connect tomorrow at 8 a.m. again.
Thank you so much for your time.